I'm Keith Ward with Old Apocalypse. Now, you've probably seen the stories. Just take a look at this list if you haven't. This is just a tiny sample of what's going on with elder care in America. One of the biggest yet most underreported scandals in the U.S. is the deplorable conditions that so many seniors live under. It is widespread. It's pretty much everywhere the elderly are located. These people are ignored, yelled at, mishandled, shoved around, starved, and I mean the list just goes on and on and on. Now at the end of this video, you'll see a link to my interview with a former nursing home worker who saw all of these kinds of things and more, so stick around for that. Now these seniors are incredibly vulnerable when they're not home anymore. They often lose contact with friends and family and are shoved into unfamiliar surroundings. So they're confused and they need a lot of attention. Instead, the opposite happens. These precious older men and women are vital people who are cast aside and treated often as just quite honestly subhuman. They're hurting, and even worse, they're dying. Now this goes on at nursing homes, senior centers, assisted living centers, and other long-term care centers. The abuse can stem from any number of reasons. I'm going to give just a partial list here of some of the most prominent reasons. Okay, one of the biggest is a lack of staff. There are far too few workers at most homes like this, and the ones that are there are usually grossly underpaid. And they are also very often worked to death. They have double or triple, sometimes more than that, the patient load that they should have. And of course, that means that they're not going to give each patient as much attention as that patient needs and deserves. You also see a lot of undertrained staff. They can't even handle basic things like how to clean their patients. A third reason that you see often is uncaring administration that sees their patients as burdens rather than human beings. And that's kind of related to this last issue here I'm going to raise, and that is that there is quite often in these places a focus on money more than caring for patients. The cost for any assisted living is outrageous. And even then, the elderly often don't get proper care. Now, those of you who have had a loved one in assisted living or somewhere else know that the cost of these places can easily be six figures and into the mid six figures a year. Now, you would think for that kind of money, they would be getting the best care that they could, that they would be, if their every need would be attended to. It's simply not. So you're spending a lot of money, you are not getting the care for your loved one that money should be getting you. It's quite simple. Whatever the reason for the abuse of the elderly, it's a crisis. And again, I've only given a few reasons here. There are many more. But what happens is we hear about these issues sometimes in the news. If you're paying attention, very often these things go unreported and unknown. So what I want to do here is sound the alarm on this and get this more in the public eye. But here's the thing, I need your help. Quite simply, I can't do this without you. I need you to tell your story or the story of a loved one. Now, I've started a section on this channel to highlight these stories of abuse. They're called playlists in YouTube lingo. If you go to the playlist that is marked Elder Abuse, you will find the first story, and I'm going to be putting many more stories there. We need to hear your stories. We need to have them told. We need to have a record, a living record of what is going on in these places. We need an exact record of these abuses. And I want that to happen right here on Old Apocalypse. So, if you want to help, please record a video of yourself or your loved one discussing the abuse they experienced, and with as many specifics as possible. Those kinds of details are going to be important for just having the credibility that we need and the believability, and so the full horror can be known. You can shoot these videos on your phone, on your smartphone, on your webcam, on your laptop, whatever device you have. Basically, anything with a camera that you want to record it on is fine. You don't have to worry about editing or anything or the format. Send it to me when you're done, and I'll take care of putting it in the proper format and putting it on the website. Now, if you prefer not to create a video, I can interview you about your experience with your loved one's elder abuse. Happy to do that. We can set up a time to do that interview. It can either be on camera, which I'd prefer, again, for reasons of credibility, or we can do it just audio only. In other words, whatever you're most comfortable with. So, when you're done with your videos, if you make a video, send those videos in to me at the email address you will find in the description. Alternatively, if you want me to interview you, you can send it to that same email address and we will get it set up. So let me emphasize again, this kind of thing needs to stop. Our wonderful elders are simply getting cast aside. They're getting thrown out into the cold. And we can't allow it to happen anymore. With your help, we can publicize the issue so many more folks see what's going on. We can get folks to pay attention and we can bring changes about. Let's wake up this country and stop this abuse. It'll be hard. It's going to take a lot of effort, but we can do it if we work together. I don't want you to feel like, this is tilting at windmills. It's a shot in the dark. People aren't going to care. We can't get the politicians to listen. I believe that if we work together, we can do this. We can shake people up. We can make politicians take notice. We can work for the kind of reform that is going to be necessary to get this done, to protect your loved ones, to protect my loved ones, to protect all of our loved ones so that they can get the kind of care, the kind of assistance, the kind of love that they need and that they deserve. A caring society does this for its folks who cannot do for themselves anymore. Let's be that society. Let's be that change together. Let's get going. So as I mentioned before, if you want to see an example of what's going on, I'm linking to an interview I did with a former nursing home employee who saw this kind of abuse firsthand, saw horrible things, and she talks about exactly what we're trying to fight against. So make sure you click on that video, and I hope you like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.